r/AskReddit by Reddit and Flex. What glitch in the system are you exploiting? Was told by gas company that my apartment doesn't exist according to their records and therefore couldn't set up an account. Despite this, we've had gas in the apartment for the past 3 years. Just wanted to let you guys know I'm getting free gas. Sir, our records show your apartment does not exist, therefore we cannot charge you. That is the most logical statement I've heard in my life and I will not question it, ma'am. Have a great day. I've been getting free internet for the last 10 years because my ISP never cut me off after I stopped paying. I don't question it. Had Comcast. Moved. Had new service set up. Called to pay my first bill and they didn't have an account for me. A year later and I still wasn't receiving bills but still had internet. Then I had to move again. I wonder how long I could have ridden that gravy train. I mean, I wasn't trying to be deceitful and outright told them that I was getting internet without paying, but they told me since I wasn't a customer there that they couldn't do anything besides transfer me to sales. But it was Comcast, so who the duck cares? At Noodles and Company I regularly order online at work. I get the med salad. Normally it comes with chicken added. I deselect the chicken, saving like $3 and so far I'm 5/5 for them still putting it on there. Damn. That's not bad. Although this would also explain how employees also tend to ignore extra notes on online orders. There's a change dispenser near my house and when you put in $1 bills it dispenses 5 quarters instead of 4. Woohoo, breaking economy. That's a 25% ROI. I can't imagine that continuing very long if the organization that maintains the machine does any kind of accounting. Surely they'd see that they're spending more on coins that they are receiving back in notes. Getting the employee discount on my phone bill. From an employer I left a year ago. I got that for 5 years. By the time my phone company wanted physical verification, I was at another job that offered the same discount. In Norway they legally can't put more than 1 parking ticket on your car. So I have been using the same ticket when parking since September. What? That sounds like it was built to be abused. Did you pay the fine and just leave the ticket on all this time? I get 15% discounts at a particular grocery store by virtue of being a student. However, the chain doesn't apply the discounts on returns. So, I can buy something at a 15% discount and return it for full price. I don't use it because I want the chain to stick around. But I know it exists. You sound like a good person. Parking on a street that requires a permit. Every 3 months or so I get a fine of $150. If I paid to park I would be paying $10 a day. So it works out way cheaper to just keep on getting fines. Congratulations, now you know why corporations would rather pay so many fines rather than actually obey the law. This was like 7 or 8 years ago when a lot of towns in the UK didn't have Domino's pizza. Before Papa John's was a thing here and you were lucky if there was a Pizza Hut delivery. Most people only had access to pizza from little dirty kebab shops and like their kebabs. The pizzas were best eaten when drunk. Well, a Domino's opened up in my hometown not long after I finished university and moved back home. Because it was so expensive compared to the cheap, albeit shit, pizza you could already buy. They did loads of really good coupon and online deals. They had this one code, PIS50, that was 50% of £50. A large pizza with 2 sides was about £25 anyway. So you could basically get twice the amount of food. It made it feel like you weren't getting totally ripped off. That code didn't stay on the menus for long though. And it was replaced with various other codes that would change every month. The thing is though, the PIS50 code still worked online. And it stayed active until this year. I was a little heartbroken when I entered it and got an invalid code error. An ex-girlfriend hasn't changed her Netflix password and is still logged in on my Blu-ray player. It's been nearly 2 years. One of the washing machines at my college only costs a quarter as opposed to the normal $1. I'm saving tens. Tens, I tell you. We had one that cost nothing. You just jiggled the coin slot and it gave you credit. Everyone only used the free machine. Unless you were in a hurry and didn't want to wait your turn. We had a system worked out and everything. It was great. Some ducking a shat complained to the faculty that one machine was free and the others weren't. And it was fixed. Then they told everyone how much better it was. Because you didn't have to wait for the free machine anymore. It wasn't even that he felt it was dishonest. He didn't like lining up for the free machine. But couldn't justify spending the dollar when he could get it free if he waited. Some gold medal mental gymnastics on that one. Getting a mortgage and then getting a roomie to pay rent to me. Which I used to pay the mortgage. Living for free, man. Students with rich parents do this often around here. The rich parents buy or vouch for the house. The college students, multiple mostly, pay less rent than you would at a regular rental house. And the parents have some sort of investment. My brother got discounts from other stores in the plaza of a grocery store he worked at because he worked at said grocery store. The pizza place got so used to seeing him. They gave him the grocery store discount every time he came in. Even well after he quit that job. They sound like great people. I keep being offered sign-up bonuses for starting new bank accounts. I've switched twice now in a year. Moving my direct deposit each time and have made $800 in incentives. Other than the hassle of switching my direct deposit, I can't find a reason not to. There are no penalties for closing a bank account. And to me the hassle is worth the money. You've dived into what we call churning. It becomes super profitable once you learn what to do. It's probably one of the original ideas behind r/life pro tips before it became a dumping ground for idiotic psychology advice. My student ID doesn't have a date on it, so I've been using it for the 6 years I've been out of school. Unfortunately, my 30-year-old self doesn't look as full of life as my 18-year-old self. Flipping failed recalled products. When say Apple do a recall for a logic board failure. Find systems with those symptoms on eBay for cheap. Take them into the Apple store and they'll repair it for free under warranty. Also a cheap way to get a MacBook every few years, but usually better to get several failed ones and swap for something that hasn't been recalled. You just reminded me of when my logic board going out 2 years in a row during finals week. Apple fixed it for free both times though. My dad is a recycling man for my town. And man did he ever do this well. So with McDonald's, you know how you can get a stamp card and a sticker on every cup? When you fill out the stamp card you get a free drink. Well, whenever he goes to pick up someone's recycling, sometimes a person left their McDonald's drink cup in there. And the sticker is still on it. So he takes the sticker and puts it on his stamp card. Let's say he has over 50 plus stamp cards for a free drink by doing this. And counting. He is exploiting that one, that is for sure. Free coffee for life. My local pizza place has pepperoni on the menu for £1 more than pepperoni plus pepperoni, mushrooms and onions. Just swap the mushrooms and onions for pepperoni and pepperoni. Every time I eat it I'm wahahaha to myself. Marry me. My current job is a fast food franchise with 5 other stores in the market. I started out at one store making $11.25 HR. After my first year I got a raise of 0.25 and within a month I was promoted to trainer with another 0.25 raise. After about 3 months of that I was late for work too many times, so they decided to demote me. I took a week off after that because I felt down. When I got back I noticed they hadn't docked my pay. I didn't tell anyone and wanted to avoid attention, so I started working the night shift to earn an extra $1 an hour, so I was making $12.75 per hour. After 6 months I had made the overnights one of the most productive shifts, so the boss wanted to promote me to manager. I agreed and they sent me off to another store for 2 months for training. When I got to that store the amount I was making on my pay stub was $12.75 instead of $11.75 plus 1 because the person in charge of payroll is lazy. So when the new store put me on night shifts they were paying me $12.75 HR plus $1 HR. When my 2 months were up I got the raise, bringing my total up to $13.75 HR on normal shifts. But when I got back to my original store, the lazy payroll guy just totaled my wage again on my pay stub so that it was $14.75. After about 3 weeks of me being back, the other overnight manager started not liking me. So I demoted myself and asked to be moved stores for good. So they moved me to the slowest store in the market. without fixing the pay again. So when I got to the store I'm currently at, I was making $14.75. To finish off, I work overnights in my new store. So I get the $1 premium again on top of my $14.75. I get free food. And the store is so dead I get maybe 20 customers a night. Too bad you didn't post this sooner. This is one of the best ones I've read. Not current, but a good story. 3 years ago I worked at a grocery store as a cashier, and they had a system where every dollar spent was put towards a point system to give you discounts on their gas. You also got discounts on specific items with the card. They tracked our employee cards, so we couldn't cop some free fuel points. But my mom's old phone number was still linked to an account. So whenever a customer didn't have an account, which was free, I would just type in my mom's old and say it was the store code to give them discounts. I paid next to nothing for gas while I worked there and never got caught. You're lucky there wasn't a system in place to monitor stuff like this, or that no one was auditing. A friend of mine did something similar to this. Got fired and arrested. The mobiles in my area did a scratch-off game via text. You text a code and they send you a link to a scratch-off page. Get 3 out of the 6 and you won a free energy drink, soda, or water, changed monthly. I literally won every day. Then I discovered you could clear cookies and get as many tickets as you had email addresses. Was getting 5 energy drinks a day for free for a few months. How's your heart doing? With the Subway app you can get discounts on subs. If you delete the app you can try again and get a different, better discount. It ain't much, but it is to a 19-year-old student. Edit. It's the Subway Netherlands app for everybody asking. So that might be why the Americans don't see the footlong for €5 discount. I don't know what the deal is with Subway in other countries. If it's Android, instead of deleting the app just clear the data cache and it will be like opening the app as if it was just installed. The deluxe double at my local Culver's is like $4, but a regular double cheeseburger with deluxe condiments is $2.80. Do they let adults order the kids' meal? I was under the impression adults couldn't. Although my knowledge comes mainly from TV film. Most recently and being rejected in Atlanta. I took a regular old stats class in high school. My college saw it on my transcript. Thought it was AP. And checked it off of my degree requirements. My graduate school saw it on my undergrad transcript and checked it off on my requirements. I haven't taken a math class since I was 17 and I'm not saying a word. Live in a rural town. No degree. But I'm excellent at math. I got a job teaching GED math classes which requires a degree. It was supposed to be temporary and I was supposed to give my boss a refresher on math so they could eventually let me go. My boss knows I have a daughter to support by myself as a dad and have really turned my life around, and my boss already knows how to do math. Boss still always tells her supervisor she just can't get the hang of algebra so I can keep my job. My boss is cool. Are you Mike Ross? That's amazing. I have the same combination on my luggage. As a barista, 9/10 times you can order almost anything grand in a venti and get a bit more than $1,000 since most everybody will eyeball and not want to short you. I never actually did this. And I'm told it doesn't work anymore. But I saw people do it. Years ago. At a certain major university. The administration decided to put all your services on one card. Everything from the library to photocopiers. To exams to food services. A fine idea. There was just one tiny problem. The code somehow presumed that everyone would, at some point, put a balance on the card. They did not account for the possibility of someone showing up in certain places with a zero balance. One set of such places involved anywhere that served university issue food. In short, as long as you kept a zero balance on your card, you ate for free. You'd get rung in at the cash and present your card. It would scan but not show the cashier the balance because of privacy regulations. It would only say okay or not okay if you had a balance that was not sufficient or negative. For example, in the case of library fines, it would compare X to Y and it wouldn't go through. If your balance was zero, it went through every time. So somebody didn't set up that binary properly. This went on for years in certain faculties and departments, and it's easy to imagine which ones. It was legendary. It got to the point, I'm told, that they were actually holding meetings and disciplining people who abused it too much because they were so concerned about keeping it going. I found out towards the end of my time there. But I didn't feel too upset because I lived off campus and only ate within the university inside my college, which was on a different system and had way better food. Someone literally said, "How would you like a free lunch?" Showed me his 0.00 balance on a nearby machine, and then bought me lunch. Now that I'm more involved in and aware of university operations, I'm actually kind of pissed about this. Like all free lunches, it wasn't, but it remains, undeniably, a first-class hack. Personally, my own view is that student nutrition is a huge problem, and we should be giving food away to students. But the legal problems surrounding that are truly prohibitive. TLDR. Students at a major university who kept a null balance on their student cards had an all-you-can-eat buffet on tap. I had a similar thing in my university as well. Basically, we had a self-checkout system with a credit card reader. After the checkout, you'd need to show the receipt to one standby cashier. The reader would approve the transaction and then display the text "Do not remove card until transaction completes." If you pulled it directly, you'd still get a receipt printed, but no charges to the card. My pullout game was very strong. Subscribe now to enter the Flex Squad.